morning everybody, and welcome back to the fabulous George Salter Academy. Ahead of the return of students, I thought I would do another one of those videos walking around the site, showing you the measures that we're taking and how the school will look and feel just a little bit different when the children return. First thing to point out obviously is this is a training day for the school, so I'm not in my normal business attire. When students arrive for school, they will be wearing their normal school uniform. Nothing has changed there, and we look forward to seeing the children with their uniforms, looking smart and with their bags, with all the equipment they need for the day with them as they come into school. So as the school is zoned for exits and arrivals, any student who is late must come through to reception, where they will be met and they will be held so that they can then be walked through to the relevant zone for that year group. In terms of structure, the school day hasn't changed, so the arrival time and the dismissal times are the same. We're not having a staggered arrival and a staggered dismissal. Because we're a large site with multiple entrances, we can accommodate children arriving and being directed to different year group zones by staff. So just to be clear on that, Year 7 will arrive at the PE gate, Year 8 will arrive at Dudley Street, Year 9 will arrive through Claypit Lane, and there will be no staff car parking in Claypit Lane, and it won't be an entrance for visitors or any other purpose other than to allow students to access the academy. Year 10 will arrive through the PE gate. Year 11 will come to the main entrance. Year 12 will arrive through Dudley Street, and Year 13 will arrive through the sixth form gate. Now you may have noticed there that Dudley Street and the PE gate are the point of entry for more than one year group. So I will show you what that looks like so you can see how we are segregating the two zones. So as I said, Year 7 students and Year 10 students will enter the academy from the PE gate. But as you can see here, there's a barrier in place which would separate the two year groups, and you'll see that the Year 7s, when they arrive, will make their way through to the new classroom block, which is where they will find their classrooms, their social space, the SEND room and the withdrawal room for their year group. And the Year 10s on this side of the barrier will make their way through to mostly the English classrooms, which is again where they will find their zone. Of course, the barrier will be supervised at all times by a member of staff, duty points, who will be making sure that children do try to enforce the social distancing guidance. You'll notice that as Year 7 leave to access their social space, they follow the barrier and may come into contact with Year 10s on the other side of the barrier. They would do if we hadn't changed the break time for certain year groups. So at no point during the social time will Year 7 students here come into contact with Year 10 students on the other side of the barrier. We are following the national guidance and the guidance of our trust partners, Ormiston Academies Trust, as regards face coverings. We currently are not in a localised lockdown, so it is not compulsory for adults or children to be wearing a face covering in communal areas or corridors during the school day. It is therefore not recommended that students do. If a student chooses to wear a face covering, and we accept that a small minority may, that face covering we're going to term a mask and should cover the nose and the mouth and be attached either behind the ears or at the back of the head. It is not a scarf, it is not a snood, it is a face mask. and we will judge what we think is acceptable. All children, when they arrive to the academy, will have a form tutor period where we will talk them through the instructions for the safe removal of a face covering. Hand sanitising, removal of the mask in a resealable plastic bag, hand sanitising, not touching the face. Okay, so our lovely Year 7s are very lucky because they get to have their lessons in our new classroom block, which are mostly art classrooms and some languages and some humanities. The first thing to note is the classroom door will be left open as teachers are teaching, and windows will be open to allow a circulation of air. You'll notice the hand sanitizer here, and so children will sanitise their hands as they enter a classroom and also when they leave. And you'll notice that the teacher shall be teaching from the front of the classroom in a more instructional teaching style, with children seated in rows facing the front. In all of our classrooms there will be a box marked for every period in the day where the member of staff will store any worksheets that need to be given out, and they will be given out by the member of staff who will be wearing gloves because there will be a shared use there. The children are expected to bring all the equipment they need for the day. They are expected to bring their pens, pencils, rulers, rubbers, etc. as previously. There will be a box of equipment in every classroom, so if a child doesn't have some equipment, it can be lent and it can be shared within the zone. But clearly we are recommending that all children bring the equipment they need as they would previously. Our curriculum model remains exactly the same as it was prior to COVID-19 outbreak. There is no shrinkage. Children will access the same breadth and depth of the curriculum as they have done previously. Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5 options will continue. In Key Stage 3, children will follow the national curriculum. Where there is a change is that in some subjects we're not allowing the practical nature of that subject to continue for the time being. That will of course be subject to review, and we are going to review that fortnightly. But it does mean such things as the playing of instruments won't happen. The work in workshops in DT won't happen. But those lessons will still take place because there is a theory element to every subject that we have to teach, and that's what we intend to focus on in the initial stages of this year. Okay, so we're now in the Year 10 zone, which is mostly the English classrooms and some of the MFL classrooms, and you'll notice there's a desk in the corridor. So this is the Pastoral Support desk. Any child who wishes to go to the toilet or leave a classroom has to report here, and this is where all movement is monitored. We're only allowing one child in the toilets at a time during lessons, and this is also where the class teacher can call for support if it's needed. In the instance that a child may become unwell during a lesson, and it may well be that they're displaying COVID-19 like symptoms, well, the member of staff in the classroom would call for assistance from the pastoral support worker in the corridor. A first aider would be called in PPE, who would escort the child to our first aid room, explore the symptoms further, contact home and ask for the child to be taken home, and then we would ask for a test, and the track and trace process would kick in. In the meantime, the class who were in that classroom would be escorted out of the classroom to a contingency classroom, and the previous classroom would be thoroughly cleaned. Because of the restrictions and the constraints around serving food and social distancing and hygiene, our canteen won't be open as it was previously. We are going to revert to almost like a primary school model of a weekly ordering of food. So when the children arrive in the first week, we will give them a menu for them to choose their options, and that will be their choice until they decide that they'd like to change it. Then it's up to them to ask for another weekly menu to make their choices accordingly. The form that they fill in, that weekly menu, will be limited, and it will be limited in the initial stages just to sandwiches and to cold serving. When they've made their choice, that will trigger our processes in terms of the ordering of the food and the making of it fresh each day, and the delivery to their tutor groups or to their period 4. It will also trigger the payment from parent pay. So you will have to load up the child's account from home because our machines in school will not be used for obvious reasons, for biometric reasons. Because our water fountains are out of use, we would recommend that children bring the bottle of water that they need for the day with them to school, and we'd also recommend that as far as possible that they bring their own food too. As regards their teaching groups, Year 7 will mostly be taught in their tutor groups, and the seating plan will be that of their tutor group. They won't move classrooms in the new block, and staff will move to them. In Years 8 and Year 9, students will be taught in their English sets, for the most part, and in maths and science in their maths sets. There may well be some movement between classrooms to facilitate those setting arrangements, but that is okay. They are moving within their zone. In Key Stage 4, Years 10 and 11, and Key Stage 5, Year 12 and 13, students will move between classrooms in their zones. In every lesson, there will be a seating plan which is recorded on our system called Class Charts, and will thus allow a fast and easy access for track and trace, if needed. Other things to note: on a day when a child has PE, they are to arrive to school in their PE kit. We do not want any visitors to the academy during this period. If you wish to visit, please phone and book an appointment. Unfortunately, we won't be able to coordinate and run any educational visits in the initial stages of this term, and similarly we won't be able to have peripatetic teachers coming into our academy. There will be no events in half term 1 either, so the Year 7 induction evening and the Year 11 parents evening will be done in a different way. They'll be done remotely. Await further details of that, please. I hope this video has been of use. It's really quite a hard thing to do. I know I've tried to talk slowly and concisely. I've tried to answer any concerns that parents, carers or children might have ahead of the return to school. Our school is a safe place to be. It's a safe place to study. Our risk assessment is thorough, and we really do want to see the children back. We have missed them. This is a fabulous school, and it is a school with a soul, and for a long time now it's been too empty, and we need to see our children again, to teach, to instruct and to care, and to make sure that we do that job of developing fabulous young people who really will go on and change the world. So I'm really excited about the young people coming back. I understand you may have further queries, please look at the video of the frequently asked questions, please look at the risk assessment, look at the reopening guide, and if you're at all in doubt, phone the school. But rest assured, we do take our procedures very, very seriously, and we have placed safety for adults and for children at the heart of our opening plans. So I very much look forward to seeing the young people on Thursday and Friday this week. Thank you.